The Man Who Repaired Time. A simple English story for English learners. Chapter 1. The Town and the Shop. A long time ago, there was a small town. The town was quiet. It was not busy. It had small houses. It had old streets. It had big trees and green grass. The people in the town were kind. They said hello to each other. They smiled when they walked. It was a peaceful place. But in one corner of the town, there was a strange little shop. The shop was very small. It had a glass window. The window was dusty. The shop had an old wooden door. Above the door, there was a sign. The sign said, "Time repairs. We fix what time broke." People looked at the sign and laughed. They did not understand it. Some said, "What is this shop?" Others said, "You cannot fix time." Many people walked past it and never went inside. Inside the shop, there was an old man. His name was Eli. Eli was quiet. He had white hair. He wore round glasses. He sat in a wooden chair every day. He drank tea and looked out the window. The shop was not like other shops. It had no clocks. It had no watches. It had no tools on the wall. It was almost empty, but it was also full of feeling. When you stepped inside, the air felt different. It was quiet. It was calm. It felt like time stopped. No one knew what Eli did in the shop. Some said he fixed old things. Others said he was a magician. But Eli never said anything. He only smiled when people asked him. He had one rule. "I don't fix things. I fix what time broke." People did not understand, so they stopped asking. Part 2. The Girl and the Photo. One rainy evening, a girl came to the shop. She was a teenage girl. Her name was Rhea. She was about 16 years old. She had long black hair. Her eyes were red. It looked like she had been crying. Her clothes were wet from the rain. She stood in front of the shop. Then she opened the door and went inside. Eli looked at her and gave a soft smile. Rhea said, "Can you fix a memory?" Eli did not ask questions. He pointed to the table and said, "Place it here." Rhea opened her school bag. She took out a photo. The photo was old. It was torn in half. It showed her and her mother. They were smiling in the photo. But her mother had died 1 week ago. It was a car accident. Rhea placed the photo on the table. She looked at Eli with hope. Eli picked up the photo. He nodded. Then he walked behind the curtain into a small room. A soft ticking sound came from the back. It sounded like an old clock, but there were no clocks. Rhea waited. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. Then 30. She sat quietly. She looked around. The shop felt very calm. After 1 hour, Eli returned. He held the photo in his hand. It looked new. It was not torn anymore. It looked perfect. Rhea took the photo. She looked at it. Then something happened. She closed her eyes. She began to remember things. She remembered her mother's laugh. She remembered the smell of her mother's hair. She remembered the last hug. She remembered the words her mother said before the accident. "No matter what happens, time can't take my love from you." Tears ran down Rhea's face. "What did you do?" she asked Eli. Eli smiled and said, "Time does not heal all wounds, but sometimes I can help it remember what it forgot." Rhea smiled through her tears. She said, "Thank you," and left the shop. Part 3. The Soldier and the Medal. A few days later, a man came to the shop. He was tall and strong. He wore an old army jacket. His eyes looked tired. He walked slowly and carefully. He entered the shop and said, "I heard you fix memories. Can you fix this?" He placed a small metal on the table. It was dull and scratched. Eli looked at the metal. He picked it up gently. The man said, "This was my brother's. He died in the war. I can't remember his face anymore. I feel like time has taken him away." Eli nodded. "I will try." Eli went into the back room again. The soft ticking sound began. The man waited. He looked around. He saw old pictures on the wall. He felt something soft in the air, like peace. After a while, Eli returned. The metal looked new. The man touched it, and then he closed his eyes. He smiled. Then he cried, "I can see him again. He is smiling at me. He is laughing. Thank you. Thank you." Eli only smiled. Part 4. The Blind Artist. One morning, a woman came to the shop. She walked with a stick. She was blind. Her name was Mira. She held a small box in her hands. She said, "This is my old paintbrush. I was an artist once. I lost my sight in an accident. I cannot paint anymore. But this brush holds memories. Can you help me feel them again?" Eli said, "Yes, place it on the table." Mira placed the brush gently. Eli took it to the back room. The ticking sound began. When Eli returned, the brush looked the same, but it felt different in Mira's hand. She closed her eyes. She gasped, "I can feel the colors. I can smell the paint. I remember the joy. Thank you." Eli said, "Sometimes our hands can remember what our eyes cannot see." Part 5. The Boy and the Watch. A young boy came to the shop. He had no money, but he had a broken pocket watch. He said, "This belonged to my grandfather. He gave it to me before he died. It does not work now, but it was special." Eli took the watch. "I do not fix time, but I fix what time broke." He went to the back room. The ticking began. When he returned, the watch still did not tick. But when the boy touched it, he smiled. "I can hear his voice. I remember his stories. I feel like he is here." 6. The End of Time. One morning, the people of the town came to the shop. But the door was closed. The sign was faded. The windows were dark. Someone opened the door. The shop was empty. Eli was gone. On the table was a note. "Thank you for letting me fix your time. Mine has finally run out." Eli. The town was quiet that day, but people smiled. They remembered Eli. They remembered what he gave them. They say if you stand near the shop at midnight, you can still hear a soft ticking sound. And if your heart is broken, the door might still open. Because some memories are never lost. They just wait to be remembered.